this wall behind me doesn't tell you that I'm a Beatles fan, yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. So before I decided to revive my YouTube channel, Sony Pictures went ahead and put out 4 official photos of their upcoming Beatles biopics. And of course, me being a Beatles fan, I had to jump right on and talk about it. So in this video, we're going to look over all 4 photos that Sony has released of the actors playing the Fab Four. And we're also going to take a look at some leaked set photos of all the 4 actors as the Beatles on set. I'm going to move myself off to the side a little bit so you guys can clearly see the photos right beside me. I'm sure you've seen this by now, but just in case you haven't seen it, these are the 4 actors who are playing the Beatles. These 4 actors from left and right are Harris Dickinson as John Lennon, Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney, Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr, and Joseph Quinn as George Harrison. I'll be honest, guys, when I heard this news, I didn't expect any of these 4 names to come into the picture. But now we have them officially cast, and I gotta say, they look like they can represent the Fab Four in a really good way. So here is Sony's first official picture of Harris Dickinson as John Lennon. Right off the bat, I gotta say, this looks pretty darn accurate. It's looking like they're starting off with the Let It Be vibes going from the album cover of the same name. Dickinson really looks the part. I like the glasses they put on him, and of course the long hair that they gave John Lennon. Overall from this picture, I think he actually looks pretty good. Now here is where it starts to get a little bit iffy. This is a leaked set photo of Harris Dickinson as John Lennon. Looks like they're filming what they called the Beatlemania era back in the day. No glasses, no long beard, just the classic 1963 bowl cut. But I'm not sure, it's just something about the face just doesn't resonate with me when I'm looking at John Lennon. And don't get me wrong here, I don't expect them to be exactly like they are. I'm sure they'll put their own little twist on it like other biopic actors do. And of course, with hair and makeup going forward in post-production, they could look a little bit better. Here's another leaked photo of Harris Dickinson as John. This one I will say looks a little bit better. I like the expression he's showing, I like the costumes they went with for this scene, and of course all the extras representing the Beatlemania era. My only other gripe I have with Harris Dickinson as John is his voice. Forgive me, I'm going to completely botch both of John and Harris's voices, so I apologize in advance. But if you've heard John Lennon's vocals or if you've seen him in movies, you know he kind of has like a high Liverpudlian accent. And then if you watch Harris Dickinson's movies and interviews, you'll hear that he kind of has like a deeper voice when he starts to talk. He kind of goes a little bit lower British accent voice, but I really just can't hear that when he's playing John Lennon. But I'm sure overall that all of these actors are going to do a very good job, hence why they were obviously cast. Next up, we're going to take a look at Sony's second official picture, Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney. Right off the bat, I'm looking at this picture and I'm thinking, bro, time travel's real. This looks exactly like a 1963 Paul McCartney at the Cavern Club. I'm trying to find any nitpicks with this picture, and honestly, I really can't see any. Even when Paul Mescal was announced, from the get-go, I even looked at his face, and I could see, yeah, he has a bit of a Paul McCartney look to his face, especially his eyes. But this picture is literally one of my favorites out of the 4 that Sony has officially released. I literally have no complaints with this picture at all. Then we get to the leaked set photos, and yeah, I noticed a difference. First of all, like Dickinson, I like the costumes that they're going with. Obviously, they are filming the Beatlemania era, so they're going to be dressed up in the suits and the tuxes and whatnot. I even find it funny how this picture has one of his arm sleeves ripped off, probably from one of the crazed fans that they casted. And the famous Beatle haircut really looks good on him. And like I said before, something about the eyes just really speaks Paul McCartney to me. But in this photo, I gotta say, he looks a little bit chiseled. Now, we've gone down this route before when it comes to film. Every leaked set photo that comes out for movies, they don't necessarily look like that exactly in the final cut. So I'm curious here if they're going to do just a little bit of de-aging on Paul Mescal here, and if they do, I would see it working out a little bit more. But overall, with the overall look as Paul McCartney, like, he doesn't look bad at all. This one I will say is a little bit better. The eyes really stand out in this picture. But again, it's just the chiseled jawline that really is a bit distracting to me. But overall, Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney, he looks really good, and I'm sure he's going to do a fantastic job. I love how he's already come out and said that he's already hung out with Paul McCartney and got to play a little guitar with him and whatnot. So obviously, McCartney himself has given Paul Mescal his blessing. Then we have one that I was really surprised to see get casted, and this is going to be Joseph Quinn as George Harrison. This is the one where I'm like, that looks a little like George, but it also looks the least like George. Like, I'm seeing a little bit of Eric Clapton in this photo. I'm also seeing a little bit of Dave Grohl. But just from looking at this photo, I can tell that, you know, he's wearing the navy blue poloed shirt. He's got a guitar in hand. So this is obviously another picture from what could be the Abbey Road / Let It Be era. So with Sony's official picture of Joe as George Harrison, it didn't click with me right away. But then we go back to the set photos, and right away I'm seeing, yeah, that's a bit more George Harrison than anything. Again, like Paul, something about the eyes with these guys really just tells you that, yeah, that's Paul McCartney, that's George Harrison, you get it. But again, he's rocking the classic suit and tie look. Well, we necessarily really don't see what he's wearing underneath, but if you look at old pictures of when the Beatles came to America, that's probably what they're going to wear. And just seeing Joseph Quinn rock the Beatle cut, I don't know, I really just, something about that I just really love. Here we go. The second leaked photo, we can kind of see what he's wearing now. But yet another good leaked set photo. Again, the bowl cut looks good. He's really rocking that facial expression. If you look online at pictures of George Harrison back in the 60s, you can see that his eyebrows are like really dark and really thick, kind of like mine. And his eyes are like really like evil looking, like really dark, and like he's just staring at you the entire time. But overall, Joe Quinn as George Harrison, I give it the approval. I love Joseph Quinn. I loved him as Eddie Munson in Stranger Things. Also, he has a little bit of guitar experience from that, so that's probably a factor on why he was cast as George. And then, of course, he played Johnny Storm in the most recent Fantastic Four: First Steps. I'm excited to see what he brings to George Harrison, and I'm excited to see his portrayal of George Harrison. Now, this is my favorite casting of this entire biopic series. Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr. Wow. This picture right here, like, it's right along with the Paul Mescal picture. Like, look at Barry. He looks great. The polka dotted shirt, the crazy tie, the mustache, the bowl cut. Barry Keoghan. I wouldn't have thought of that, but holy crap. And he's rocking the expression. You can kind of see like he kind of has little bags under his eyes, like he's kind of like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing now. And then these next two, these are my favorite set leaks that I have seen so far. Barry just looks so good. They've given him the prosthetic big nose. He's holding a video camera. This brings me back to the Hard Day's Night era. Like if any of you guys have seen that black and white movie from the 60s, A Hard Day's Night, Ringo is basically like a solo act. He's walking around, interacting with kids and whatnot, as well as taking pictures. And Sony is looking like they're really trying to like delve into that side of Ringo, as well as his time in the band. And here's another one where he's actually holding the camera up. Again, all I see here is classic 1963 Ringo. I also really like how Barry Keoghan grew out his hair so long so he can get that Beatle cut in the most perfect shape he can. But to me, overall, like I said, this is my favorite casting that came out. This literally just screams Ringo Starr to me. And just as a bonus, I'm going to throw in this last set pick of Paul Mescal and Harris Dickinson as Paul McCartney and John Lennon in their Sgt. Pepper / Magical Mystery Tour era costumes. I'm definitely now seeing more of John Lennon in this photo here. Again, the small mustache, he has the circle eyeglasses, the fur coat, the wacky tie, and the same with Mescal as McCartney. The mustache, the giant coat, the cigarette in his hand. This is just a nice little fun photo that we got, and honestly, I am a fan of it. So in review, with all four of these pictures right beside me, I want to know in the comments, which actor do you think looks the most like their counterpart? Again, we have Harris Dickinson as John Lennon, Paul Mescal as Paul McCartney, Joseph Quinn as George Harrison, and Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr. I absolutely cannot wait for these movies to come out. It's going to have to be a couple of years. I think they're slated to come out in April of 2028. And the way they're doing it is really cool. It's going to be 4 movies, each from the point of view of that Beatle. And they have a great director helming these projects, Sam Mendes. Just from these photos that we have just seen, it's already got me really excited to see this on screen. It looks like we're going to be going through all the eras, about almost all the eras of the Beatles, from the 1963-64 Beatlemania to Sgt. Pepper / Magical Mystery Tour, all the way to Abbey Road / Let It Be. I'm keeping an optimistic mindset for these 4 films. I have seen a few other Beatles biopics, and while I did enjoy them, I definitely think that these are going to be the most accurate ones. But nonetheless, I've talked my ear about how excited I am about these movies. What I want to know is, how do you guys feel about it? Are you guys Beatles fans? Any Beatles fans? Leave some comments in the comment section below. I want to hear your opinions and thoughts on these pictures and what you think these actors are going to do for their final portrayal, how you think they're going to perform. Let me hear all of that. Thanks again, guys, for taking the time to watch this video. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I really would appreciate the like. Stay tuned for more movie reviews coming soon. Go subscribe to the Nerds of the Square Table podcast. And as always, this is Dylan of the Nerds of the Square Table, signing out.